does Inroads help integrate these insights into your clients' CRMs? So in other words, great, I can get all this awesome data via the dashboard that you just showed, but in order to communicate with Gerald, I've got to go into Salesforce, HubSpot, Slate, whatever system I'm using, and actually send that communication. How easy is it to access these insights in the place that I kind of live and breathe each day as an admissions counselor?
Sure, absolutely. We are very cognitive of, at the beginning of this when it comes to really your user interface and the ease of use of getting the data and being able to use it. So our admit and our market dashboards, they provide you with the mechanisms to be able to view all this data. But we realized quickly that Salesforce, Slate, all these CRMs have great APIs and integrations that allow us to push data back in. So really the only hang up that we ever have, and it's not really a hang up, it's really are we going to push that in directly? Or are we actually going to push it to the IT team who then pushes it into those different platforms? Because FERPA is a big deal. It's a part of this, security and in the anonymity of data. But we want to make sure that we work within the context of the IT department and the policies and procedures that they have in place, because we just want to follow the guidelines of what they're doing. So from our technology side of things, when we go to mine data or pull data out, we go through this process with the IT team and say, do you want us to pull it directly? Do you want to pull it and format it? Who's in charge of what? And then when we start pushing data back in, who's in charge of what? And it doesn't really, we don't care what the answer is. We're just going to make sure that we work within the context of their environment and make sure that we're meeting the needs of the admissions director and the counselors. So
makes a lot of sense. And in terms of the systems that you guys are most regularly integrating with, you've mentioned Slate and Salesforce. Are those, do you basically integrate with anyone that has open APIs, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So in this day and age, it's a beautiful thing. So when I started out 20 years ago, all these APIs didn't exist. It was like, oh, API, right? So they must be very advanced and sophisticated. But now in this day and age, it's beautiful because even with the infrastructure we have in place with Amazon, AWS, like the sky's the limits, really. So when it comes to pushing data, pulling data, an API is available, or some sort of SQL exchange like some of the players have. But nonetheless, there's not a lot of limitations anymore with being able to pull and push data. Really, the limitation is really the creative side. So like if we can get an admissions counselor or even the VP to really start to be creative with what they can do, that's when it gets exciting, because it's like, okay, between 190%, we're pushing data here to the marketing firm. Between 80 and 70%, we're going to make sure that the counselors are making phone calls and text messages. And if you're just above 50 to 60%, better than a flip of the coin, we might just run maybe some sort of geofencing campaign or some sort of, whatever campaign you want. But really our job is to get them to think creatively. What can you do once you know this data? And that's really the limitations. The APIs and the integrations, those are simple. Even though the technology guys always say it's hard, right? It's hard to do.
Yeah.
No, that's the nice thing. I have a computer science degree, so I know how hard it is and isn't to do. So, whenever it's like a little pushback, it's like, I don't think so. This is pretty easy to do. Let's do this.